evening, everyone, and welcome to our program. Greetings to all our viewers. I want you to know that I'm happy to be with you tonight. This is Pastor Jonas with another segment of our Wednesday night program. Tonight is a continuation of a program that was previously done, and Pastor Troy Christopher would have touched before on family matters. Tonight I want to continue looking at family matters with special focus on parent and children relationship. My subtopic would be puberty. This topic was chosen because it's evident in society, in our communities, and even in the world at large that in many families, parents and children do not have a good relationship. So, this topic was chosen with the thought in mind to help parents and children to establish a better relationship. As we look at family matters, we would realize that in our families, and because of shaky family relationship, constrained family relationships, our families are not quite stable. And if we don't have stable families, it means we're going to have congregations consisting of broken families, and we don't want that. So this topic is geared at sensitizing parents on what they can do to be able to deal with their children at the age called puberty. My objective tonight is to examine the social impact of puberty as a result of physical changes the body undergoes. Pastor Troy would have touched on puberty, but I believe he would have dealt more on the physical development part. But tonight I hope to look at the physical and how the physical would cause the reaction of our young people in the negative that's going to lead to what we refer to as the social impact, the way they socialize, the way they interact. All right, and they may not even understand why they're interacting that way, but it's because of what is happening in their bodies at that time. I want to read from Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 19. It says, "You shall teach them to your children, talking of them when you are sitting in your house, and when you are walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise." Now this was an admonition given by Moses, all right? And it is an admonition for parent. I want our parent to know that they have a responsibility to be the first teacher of their children. Teach them the ways of God. Teach them things about life. Teach them about development. Teach them to know what are some of the things they need to look out for as they grow older. Teach them how to relate one with another, how to relate with siblings, how to relate at school, how to relate at church, how to relate when they're out of the home. And so parents have that responsibility to teach. All right, Moses admonishes that parents teach their children. Many parents fail to fulfill that role, and everything is left on the teacher at school. But parents must know that they are the first teachers of their children. As we talk about puberty and the social impact on the life of our young people, now the onset of puberty, would vary. From individuals to individuals, it's going to vary, and this variation happened. Let's say it's usually it usually occurs in girls between the age of 10 and 14, while in boys it generally occurs later. Let's say between the ages of 12 and 16. Now, this age period, like I said before, may vary in different texts, right? Different source that you would have access for information. What I want us to understand is that this variation it leads to a psychosocial symptom, and the psychosocial symptom, right? If I'm to elaborate more on that, psycho there talks about thinking, right? The way young people would be thinking at that time, and social has to do with interaction. So psychosocial has to do with the level of thinking and how that level of thinking interferes, all right, into how they are going to react during that period. Psychosocial symptoms can be grouped as can be placed into two groups. It can be grouped as early puberty and late puberty. Now, the early puberty is dependent on, let's say, the diet of the child, all right? Whether the child has this aggressive behavior, has some form of anxiety, or social withdrawal, might be more into risk-taking behaviors, all right? Early puberty is dependent on those factors, and then we have late puberty. Now, what may be contributing to late puberty may be the way in which the child developed. Maybe the child grew with low body fat, and there may be other medical conditions that may be responsible for late puberty. Of course, anxiety too, and social withdrawal. But when we talk about early puberty and late puberty, those are some of the factors that contribute to whether the child goes into puberty early or whether the child goes into puberty late. Now, during puberty, researchers have theorized that teenagers struggle with wanting to be accepted, all right? And they want this acceptance among their peers. They want to fit in. As their body begin to change, all right, they may feel different and become self-conscious about these changes. The increased concern regarding body image and the changes often lead to a reduced self-esteem. They're looking at their bodies and, probably saying to themselves, I'm not pleased the way I'm looking. And for example, for females, the breast may develop. They may probably say to themselves, I think my breast is too big, or I don't like my waistline or my hips, for the girls. For the boys, they may probably be gauging a friend who may be at the same age group but may be taller, may be more muscular, may have a stronger voice. So when they make this comparison and they realize they're not at par and they're not able to fit in, it leads to a reduced self-esteem. And now it should be noticed, all right, that puberty is being recognized as a transition point, right? It's the beginning of the adolescence to adulthood period, in which many emotional changes occur, emotional and behavioral changes occur. And this results from the production of estrogen for the girls and testosterone for the boys. The production of these hormones, these sex hormones, are responsible. All right, these sex hormones, they are responsible for the behavioral changes that go on during this period. Now, when behavior changes, it means socialization will change eventually. Now, this means behavior is a determinant of our sociability, right? It determines how we socialize. For example, during the production of these sex hormones, what happened? The hormonal changes that go on in the body cause an increase in body odor. So at this age, if the boy or the girl realize that there is an increase, in body odor, they may tend to be withdrawn, and it's all right. It's normal for this to happen, and parents must be sensitized to be able to guide them through this critical period. Now, some pointers relating to social behavior that must be understood by parents. Some of these pointers are, they are going to withdraw, right, and isolate themselves. So withdrawal and isolation, you have to look out for that. You also have to expect poor self-esteem and self-concept. Remember, when they cannot get to fit in with the others, they're going to have this poor concept about themselves, like something is wrong with me, Also, acceptance of defeat, and this is in the case of boys. Now, while this production is going on in the body, girls tend to grow faster. And so, example for boys in school, let's use athletic sports in school, or even any other sport, playing cricket, whatever. Sometimes the boys feel real bad because during this stage of puberty, the girls start to dominate in sports, and they would beat them badly. They would defeat them. And they feel bad and then their friends too might be laughing at them, but you make a girl beat you. But it's because at that particular stage, girls tend to grow faster. So we have to teach our boys, don't worry, accept defeat, right? Acceptance of defeat is important for them to know that this is happening because girls tend to develop, they get stronger, they get taller, as relates to boys. And then there is the period is also referred to as a very controversial phase of their lives. Parents, I am a parent too, and we need to be knowledgeable of these things so when they surface in our families, in our homes, we should be able to, deal with them accordingly. According to research conducted by the University of Maryland Medical Center, it is postulated that it is common for teens in early adolescence to compare themselves with peers and become sensitive and self-conscious about their bodies. Like I said, it's normal. Now, this comparison is critical. As parents, we need to assure them that nothing is wrong. This is a difficult task because parents themselves didn't fully understand or maybe weren't properly guided during the set period of their life, of their transition. And it becomes problematic. Your sweet, good-natured child can turn into a complete stranger, a complete different person, a stranger, when going through puberty. Parents, we must understand this. Although they often push parents away during this time, they need the support and the understanding to survive this stage, to emerge as mature adults. Psychologists have posited that as adolescents experience the changes that accompany puberty, most teens feel a strong desire to separate themselves from their parents, all right? And they will tend to start asserting themselves, asserting their individuality as they choose to be separated from parents. It is essential for parents to learn, and these days information is available, or seek the help of a professional. It's essential for parents to learn about the most concerning psychological changes that take place during puberty in order to be better prepared to deal with children during this stage. Before hitting puberty, teens were less affected by gender roles and differences. They would have done any chore in the home. As their hormones change, they begin to see the opposite sex in a different light and begin to experience sexual arousal. This too should be discussed with them as something that is normal. According to research journal hypothesized by the Developmental Institute, teenagers are known for their raging hormones, or we can refer to it as drastic mood swings. The mood swings of a teenager going through puberty can fluctuate, and it can be ranging from excitement to anger to anxiety, to confusion, even rebellion. And the parent might want to say, like, you're putting on wings. You know, also depression. And depression can take the form of substance use and abuse. They can even self-harm themselves by self-inflicting, inflicting wounds upon themselves. And they can also have eating disorders. You know, sometimes they feel to eat, sometimes they don't feel to eat. They would become very choosy in what to eat and find, you know, different faults as it relates to food. Here are some of the things parents should be cognizant of to help children to have a smooth transition while building a better relationship. Parents must not become frustrated, but need to become aware and know that the changes in the social life of children during this period are directly related to the physical changes of their bodies. Parents should be able to, get to become informed, know these things, and be able to provide the help, children need at this time. So here are some things parents should be cognizant of. Let them know that they're not responsible and they cannot control the behaviors, but parents can be supportive. Let the child know that, you are not responsible for what is happening. And you cannot control it, but as parents can become supportive. It is never too late to learn, parents. Research and seek the help of professionals. You're going to help them not to be victims of a rough transition, but they're going to be able to have a smooth transition into adulthood. Keep calm, listen, and acknowledge their feelings. Sometimes they feel like nobody understands what they're going through. So parents, be calm, listen, and acknowledge their feelings. Help them understand their moods and what they might be going through. By sit them down, have a one-on-one with them, and discuss what is happening. Maintain clear rules, boundaries, and expectations. Now, there must be rules. If there is no rules, there is going to be chaos. Boundaries must be set so that teenagers know they cannot go beyond the boundary that is being established. You establish the boundary with them. Let them be a part of setting the boundary, and also let them be a part of suggesting the punishment or the penalty. So set boundaries and expectations. Let them be a part of developing the rules, and also be a part of suggesting what must be done if these rules are not obeyed. In that way, you help them to be more responsible, and it's easier to have them obey the rules. Allow them space to process their feelings and also be available when they need you. Remember, they're in a world by themselves. They believe adults do not understand what is happening. In fact, one of the reaction at that time is that some of them believe they know everything. Give them space and at the same time be available when they need you. Support your child to solve problems. Don't jump in and try to fix everything. Let them learn problem solving skills. During this time, they are going to have some personal challenges. Help them discuss it, help them reason it, and help them to find a solution other than just fixing it or trying to fix it for them. Make the most of the up times, the times when they're in a good mood. Make the most of that time and frequently praise good behavior. That in itself would cause such a behavior to be reinforced. Work together to find ways to lighten their moods and express their feelings. Encourage them to go for a walk. Be involved in some sort of sports or some sort of adventure, and you help them. All of these are little things that parents can do to help in the smooth transition, all right, from this whole period of puberty into adulthood. Encourage healthy sleeping routines and eating habits. Remember, they're going to have these swings, but then you are always there as parents to provide the support. Don't say, I can't understand this child. You're getting big too fast, but try to be of encouragement. Remember, you're working together with them to find ways to deal with these changes and these mood swings and these new attitudes. Now they're only possible, all right? And the thing is, we may explore all of these alternatives, all of these methods, all of these strategies, all right? These are only possible, these are only possible when there is a good parent and children relationship. And amidst all of the things we may employ to be of help to them, we must understand it's not going to be just a walk over or just a walk in the park. All right? It's not going to be easy, but we are parents and we have that responsibility to aid in the transition period. So I trust that, as parents, we'll be able to employ these little tips. We're going to become knowledgeable and be able to help our children. Like I said, the objective of this session is to bring awareness, to sensitize our parents, to understand that, the change in their behavior. Remember, as long the behavior pattern has changed, socialization would eventually change. They're not going to be open. They're not going to be the same person. They would not want to be a part of family gathering. Remember, we talk about isolation. They're not going to be interested in a lot of family stuff. So parents, we need to become aware and understand so that we can be of help to our children during this critical period. I trust God bless our children, those especially at the age of puberty, as they work to cooperate with parents to establish a lifetime relationship. All right? A lifetime relationship, a lifetime friendship. I want to encourage you all to befriend your parents, and parents befriend your children. Parents and children are supposed to be good friends. Viewers, please continue to adhere as far as possible and practice the safety precautions as relates to the global pandemic. And we trust that as parents, we are going to make that effort to help our teenagers to have that smooth transition from this particular phase of their life to the next phase. God bless you. See you next time.